I'm going to admit something up front. This is, without question, the pettiest thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I don't feel bad about it. Not even a little. Because sometimes, the only way to deal with a bully is not to fight them on their terms, but to out-petty them, outsmart them, and make their own arrogance do the work for you. This is the story of how my HOA president, let's call her Karen, because of course she's named Karen, kept running over my trash can with her Tesla, and how I responded by building a 300-pound concrete bin that looked exactly like the flimsy plastic one she loved to crush. The results? Let's just say physics is undefeated. The first week, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. People misjudge curbs. Accidents happen. I cleaned up the mess and forgot about it. The second week, I snapped a photo and sent it to the HOA board with a polite email. Their response? A generic copy-paste about ensuring receptacles don't obstruct the roadway. No mention of Karen. No accountability. The third week, I bought a brand new bin. Placed it so far back it was practically hiding in my flower bed. And still crunch. That's when I realized this wasn't carelessness. It was deliberate. It was a message. And the following Monday, she made it official. Karen slowed down just enough to roll down her window. "Curb appeal matters, Derek," she said sweetly. "Maybe try putting the bin somewhere prettier." I stepped onto the lawn, pointed at the exact regulation distance. 36 inches is pretty enough. Her smile sharpened. Rules bend for safety. Then she drove off. My neighbor Mark called from his porch. Safety from what? A trash can. Karen didn't answer. She didn't need to. Her point was clear. She was going to keep doing this until I gave in. It all began on a Monday morning. Not a special Monday. Not a holiday Monday. Just one of those slow, gray mornings where the sun is trying to convince itself to get out of bed. 5:45 a.m. I'm in the kitchen, coffee in hand, the kind of brew that could melt through a steel spoon if I let it sit too long. This is my sacred time, the 15 minutes before my neighborhood wakes up and the chaos of the suburbs comes alive. Outside, I glance through the window at my trash can, sitting like a soldier on duty. A regulation 64-gallon forest green bin, standing exactly 36 inches from the curb. I know the rules. I've read the HOA bylaws front to back, mostly because Karen loves to weaponize them against everyone. For the record, Section 9, Paragraph C clearly states, trash cans must be forest green or charcoal gray. Capacity, 64 gallons. Placement, 36 inches from the asphalt. Out by 7 a.m., back in by 9 p.m. And my bin was perfect. That's when I heard it. The faint whine of an electric car. A sound that should be harmless, almost peaceful. But in my neighborhood, it's the warning siren of doom. And sure enough, rolling down the block in her gleaming white Tesla Model 3 was Karen Freeman, HOA president, self-appointed queen of Harmony Creek. To the casual observer, she looked like a picture of suburban elegance. Perfect posture, serene expression, designer sunglasses. But beneath that calm exterior lurked a passive-aggressive tyrant who enforced grass height like it was national security. And right on cue, as she reached my house, her Tesla gave the tiniest little drift to the right. Deliberate, calculated, crunch, the sound of plastic surrendering to rubber. My bin toppled, spilling coffee grounds, junk mail, and last week's leftovers across my lawn. My pristine lawn, trimmed to exactly 2.5 inches as mandated by regulation. And Karen? She didn't stop. She didn't even glance in the mirror. She corrected her steering, straightened the car, and glided down the street like nothing happened. This was not the first time. In fact, this was the fourth Monday in a row. This wasn't new. Karen and I had been clashing for years. She once fined me for an excessively jolly garden gnome. She flagged my welcome mat because it said, "Wipe your paws," and was too whimsical. She sent me 3 violation letters for leaving my Christmas lights up one day past New Year's. This was just the next escalation in her suburban dictatorship. But here's the thing about me, I don't fold. You can push me, you can provoke me, but eventually, I'll stop being annoyed and start getting creative. And that morning, watching my trash explode across the lawn for the 4th time, I didn't feel anger. I felt something sharper, something colder. I felt resolve. My best friend Alex, a lawyer, told me to just install a camera and sue her. Clear-cut harassment, he said, already drafting a demand letter in his head. But Karen thrives on that game. Paperwork, meetings, threats. That's her battlefield. Mine? My garage. My garage is my sanctuary. Sawdust, motor oil, tools in perfect rows. A world of order, precision, and logic. So instead of writing letters, I pulled up the HOA bylaws. All 112 glorious pages. And there it was, Section 9. Waste receptacles. Color, size, placement. All clearly spelled out. But material? Not a word. Plastic? Metal? Concrete? Nothing forbade it. And that's when I saw it. My loophole. My weapon. I named it immediately, the Freeman Folly. A trash can so overbuilt, so indestructible, that Karen's Tesla wouldn't stand a chance. Step 1, the mold. I lined my old bin with heavy plastic sheeting, then nested a smaller bin inside it with wooden spacers. That gap, 2.5 inches thick, would soon be filled with concrete. Step 2, reinforcement. I bent rebar into a cylindrical cage, welded it solid, and dropped it into the gap. It looked like prison architecture. Step 3, the pour. I rented a mixer, bought bag after bag of fiber-reinforced concrete, and worked for hours shoveling and tamping. That's when Mark wandered over with a beer. Building a swimming pool in there, Derek? I smirked. Nope. Preparing for the apocalypse. It shows up every Monday at 5:50 in a white Tesla. He raised his beer in salute. Carry on, soldier. Step 4. Camouflage. Once cured, I painted it forest green with epoxy paint, stenciled on the recycling logo, and even scuffed it up with dirt for authenticity. From 3 feet away, you'd never know. The finished product? A 300-pound concrete fortress on reinforced steel wheels. Sunday night, I filled it with trash. Monday morning, at 6:59 a.m., I wheeled it to the curb using a dolly. Position. Exactly 36 inches from the street. Regulation to the letter. Inside, I set up my camera. Perfect angle, battery full. And then I waited. The hum came. The Tesla turned the corner, headlights glinting. Karen punctual as ever. She drifted toward the can. Confident, smug, unaware. And that, my friends, is where the real fun began. Her Tesla clipped the corner of the bin, except this time the bin didn't move. Instead, there was a thunk so solid it echoed through the morning air. The car jolted. The front bumper crumpled inward like paper. The sound wasn't plastic scattering across a lawn. It was fiberglass meeting immovable stone. Karen slammed the brakes. For the first time in weeks, she actually looked at my bin. Confused, then horrified. Neighbors peeked out from behind curtains. Mark stood on his porch, sipping his coffee like it was a front-row ticket to the show. Karen stepped out, inspecting the spiderweb crack splintering across her bumper. She touched it, as if her perfect Tesla had betrayed her. And then her eyes went to the bin. Standing tall, untouched, defiant. My concrete masterpiece. The HOA meeting that week was glorious. Karen tried to accuse me of building a dangerous obstruction. I pointed to Section 9, Paragraph C. Forest green. 64 gallons. 36 inches. Out by 7, in by 9. All in compliance. The bylaws don't specify construction materials. The room went silent. Even the board members, usually her loyal lapdogs, couldn't argue. Finally, one of them muttered, "Well, he's not wrong." Karen's face turned the color of overripe tomatoes. From that day on, Karen never drifted near my bin again. In fact, she started giving my house an extra-wide berth, steering her Tesla like she was avoiding a landmine. Mark still calls it the Monday morning massacre. Alex, my lawyer friend, shook his head and said, "You're insane." But I can't deny it was effective. And me? Every time I will that 300-pound fortress to the curb, I smile. Because sometimes the pettiest solutions are the most satisfying. And Karen? She learned the hard way that when you play petty games, you win petty prizes.